Okay, so welcome to the Bun Maker podcast. It's my first podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am excited to bring you new podcasts from a different perspective. We will be having some special guests to talk about all sorts of topics that women are, interested in. Anything from, self-care to finances to strengthening relationships to how to make connections. So I'm excited to bring those future podcasts to all of you. So make sure that you follow my YouTube page as well as sign up to my newsletter to be notified of new podcast episodes. So today's topic, we're just going to talk a little bit about, putting yourself first. I think as women, we tend to struggle with that a little bit because we often have, people or family members or siblings or even children who depend on us so much. And I just think it's so important for us to be able to put ourselves first sometimes because, if not, we tend to let ourselves go, let our health go. And, if we're not good, the house isn't good. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how do we put ourselves first. For me, I can tell you it's been a struggle. I became a mom at the age of 19. I had my first child, and immediately when I had my first child, it was all about him, right? Like making sure he was fed, making sure he was clothed, making sure he had everything he needed to, be successful in this world, which is so crazy. And so anytime I would go into a grocery store or a clothing store or anywhere, I was always, putting him first, and he was always top of mind, when I was out and about or thinking about, what I wanted to do or next steps and things like that. So, at the age of 19, I had my first child and, became a mother. Shortly after that, I became a single mother, which was even more challenging and, more needing to, put him first and making sure that, I was serving as not only the mother, but also, trying to be the father figure as well. I mean, which is so difficult, I think, for women to do sometimes. I think men just bring a different perspective, especially for boys, and my first one was a boy. And so, raising him in Fort Myers, Florida was, of course, difficult, for a little bit. When he turned 1 year old, I decided to, give away pretty much everything I owned and move to Orlando for a better life for me and him. And again, it was putting him first, right? Knowing I could not support him like I wanted to by staying there until I moved. At the age of 25, I had my second child, which was a girl, and again, continuing to put them first, right? Anytime I would put myself first, I felt guilty. I felt like I was taking something away from them, which, I in a sense, I felt like I did. I felt like I was, being a bad parent if I went into a store and just bought myself something, or I was doing them a disservice if I didn't, get them something or bring something back home for them to have. And so it just became a common thing for me to, to put them first. And it was just so difficult for me to put myself first. From getting, buying myself clothing to shooting to hairdos or nails or pedicures. It was just always such a challenge to just, take time for myself and to put me first. I would say about this year, my youngest graduated from high school. And so now it's a little bit different. Now I feel like they're adults. I feel like, listen, I am ready to put myself first. And it was difficult at first, just figuring out like, okay, what do I do next? You right? Like my oldest went to the military. My daughter, she graduated high school. Now it was kind of like, okay, now it's Sabrina first, right? I don't have to do the school shopping or the school supplies. And so how do I now put myself first? And it's been a little bit of a challenge, but I can tell you since I've been doing it, it's gotten easier and easier. And I really think now, like, I really lost a lot of time just really focusing on myself sometimes, whether it's my healthcare or just, maintenance or just doing something fun that I would love to do without having to worry about what somebody else loved to do it. And so it's been interesting. It's been an interesting journey to just, put myself first and to focus on what I want, right? Like going into a store, now I don't think about anybody else. When I go into a store, I make it a mission to be like, I am putting myself first when I go into this store. So anything I pick up, anything I look at, I do it from the perspective of, is it something I want? Is it something I need versus anyone else? And I can tell you it's been really great. And I encourage, all women to make an effort to put themselves first, and, don't feel like you're doing a disservice to anyone else when you do. I be on social media sometimes, and I applaud the women who are battling, terminal illnesses and just bringing us on their journey. But it is a reminder of how precious life is. And, I certainly don't want to be in a position where, I'm not living every day like it's my last, and I've let so much time go. And now I am, trying to quickly do things that I always wanted to do. I also don't want to be in a position where I'm like, to the point where I can't work anymore. My bones are tired. My back is aching. I can barely move around. And I can no longer work, and I'm struggling, in a sense where, financially or anything else, where I can't, do things that I wanted to do, and I can't put myself first for those reasons. So, while you have your younger years and you can get out there and you can travel and you can do things that you can't do when you get older, take advantage of those times, right? Take advantage of those years. I mean, I think I'm a late bloomer. Because again, I really didn't start putting myself first until this year. And so I look back on everything I've done in life, and a lot of that has evolved around my children or the relationships that I've been in. And so, so I feel like I've lost a lot of time. There's a lot of places that I've always wanted to see. There's a lot of things on my bucket list that I haven't done. And so now I'm finding myself in a position where I'm trying to quickly catch up on all those things, because, I'll be in my golden years pretty soon. And I want to make sure that while I'm young and strong and vibrant and can walk and can, run and do things that I probably can't do when I hit my late golden years, I want to make sure I do those things. And so it's really important that we all just take time to put ourselves first. So, so it's just some tips for all of you. What I've been doing is, every month, I set time aside for myself. Yes, I'm in a relationship. Yes, I have my adult children living with me. But I take, time every month to just focus on myself, get quiet time to myself, whether that's at home, whether that's going out. Maybe I'll, go get a massage. Maybe I'll go get a mani-pedi. Maybe I'll just go to one of my favorite stores and buy me something nice. So I would say, start, if you have to, start by taking baby steps, right? So, sit down every month, put down an activity that you're going to commit to doing for yourself, where it allows you to put yourself first. So next month you can say, I'm going to go to my favorite bookstore, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to, read a book at my favorite bookstore, or I'm going to go to a park. I love photography. I'm going to spend time by myself taking some beautiful pictures. Or I love to be, pampered. So, next month I'm going to go and spend some time at a spa. And maybe, bring a girlfriend with me if she wants to put herself first as well. So I encourage all of you to just take time to sit down, think about the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Put time on your calendar, and identify those things that you want to commit to put yourself first. Because it's so important, right? Because think about it. If you were to no longer be in your household, how will your household survive? Especially those who are, have children, whether they're younger children or older children, or you're in a relationship. How would they survive if you were not healthy? If you were, and not healthy just physically, but mentally as well. And so it's important for, you to take time to think about yourself and put yourself first, because, you have people that are depending on you to stay healthy and stay strong mentally and physically. So it's important for you to get that time to yourself as well to put yourself first. So doing that exercise, sitting down and, really thinking about the next few months, anywhere from 3 months to 12 months, really identifying those things that you can do to, again, put yourself first and make it things that you would love to do and that will really inspire and empower you to, live your best life. It's just so important. I can tell you for me, like putting myself first lately, number one, I've saved a ton of money, because now I go to the store and I just think about myself. I can do it because, of course, I have older children now. I know those with younger children, of course, you have to, continue to take care of them and buy things for them as well. But encourage yourself to, buy you something as well, whether it's, and it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It could be something, $5, $10, $15, $20. But anything you can bring back for yourself too, to, again, make yourself feel good, a little bit of self-love, self-care, as well as your children. And those with adult children, encourage them to, live their adulthood. I think it's a challenge in this time for young adults to really, take advantage of adulthood. I mean, everything from, high interest student loans and the pressures of, trying to make it in this world where it's unemployment, being competitive in the job market. I think there's just so many challenges for these young people today. Housing costs are extremely high. I mean, even renting is crazy. It's hard to even find a rental for anybody to afford on the medium, income range for their community or for their area. So it's just really tough right now for these young adults to really make it happen. So we have to kind of balance it out a little bit. We can't just kick them to the curb completely. I mean, even just yesterday I had to give my daughter, a few dollars to fill her gas tank up because her car insurance is about, $400. I mean, especially here in Florida. And, she's working almost a minimum wage job and she's trying to get a real estate license. And so, of course I have to jump in and still help her from time to time. But when I go into a store or I'm doing something or I'm planning a trip, I don't think about them, or I don't put them first in those sense, right? Like I'm more in the life now where it's more about, how I put myself first. If I'm taking a weekend trip, it's going to be me and my significant other. It's a trip I want to take, of course, it's hard for me to travel by myself, so it's nice to have someone with me. But I don't think about, how can I bring them along with me? This is my time to enjoy myself and to just kind of get away and do something that I love to do. So it is a balance, but it has been really nice to just put myself first and really focus on my life and my health, my mental health, my physical health has been really great. And so I encourage all of you to do the same. I think as women, we have so many people that depend on us, and we feel guilty when we don't think about those others. And I just think it's a disservice to ourselves to not, really focus on ourselves when we need to. And so, I think all of us want to be here for a long time, as long as we can, to, see our kids grow up or to see key milestones in our lives. But in order to do that, we have to be able to put ourselves first sometimes. And I just want to tell you, it's okay to do that. It's okay. It's okay to put yourself first. Yes, I know it's tough. I know it's hard. I know you have people that's depending on you, but it's okay. The world will not end if you do that. They will not look at you as a bad mother or as a bad parent or a bad sister. And if they do, they don't understand, right? Encourage, communicate, right? Communication is so important, right? Explain, if they do feel a certain type of way or have questions, communicate the importance of you being able to put yourself first sometimes. Even my children was like, why didn't you tell us you were going to Miami this weekend? We wanted to go. And I'm like, well, unfortunately, this was my time to put myself first and to really focus on my health and do what's best for me. And so, maybe next time I'll take you, if I'm able. But, just explaining the importance of you being able to put yourself first and why it's needed is really instrumental if you do have family members or children asking, well, why didn't you take me, or I want to go, and so of course every person is different, every age group is different. So, think about how you can communicate. And I do have a great information on the website about communicating and improving relationships, which I think could be helpful if you need some advice or tips on how to communicate and how to improve relationships. That information is available online. I encourage you to visit and to read it. But again, going back to the importance of putting yourself first is just really important if you want to continue to be strong and be around for a long time and be a part of those key life milestones. It's important to put yourself first. So I think that kind of wraps up the first episode of The Bun Maker. I'm excited to be bringing you some special guests. I didn't want to make this episode extremely too long since it's more of a first introduction to this podcast. But thank you all so much for joining. Thank you for listening. You're all amazing. And, I'm super excited to, be able to communicate with all of you in this forum, to empower you, encourage you, inspire you. I hope you continue to join me. And I look forward to connecting with all of you again soon. So thank you so much for joining. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.